Joining me in the room podcast to talk about his next amateur fight happening at NEF 52 on May 13th is Alex, the Alley Cat Morris. What's up, my man? First time on the show. Pleasure having you on, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's good to finally get to talk to you, Steve. We met years ago at Combat Zone. I'm not sure if that was your first event working, but that was my first event working. So it was awesome to get to meet you then, and it's great to get to talk to you today.
Excellent, my man. I know we did bump into each other at NEF, and you did mention to me that you would be fighting sooner than later, and you would love to get the word with me. So, man, here it is, bro. Your second amateur fight, coming off a first round finish last July for NEF out on the water, basically, man. Man, let's first recap that experience, that first time walking in the cage and getting it done, man. How was the feeling getting that first win and fighting in front of fans, family, and training partners?
It was awesome. It was definitely different obviously it was my first fight, so it was different being outside, but it was really cool of them to be outside for. It was a beautiful night. And it was really cool. Also, I was able to fight alongside Cody Lightfoot, and he was actually on the card of the first live event I ever went to go see at Combat Zone. So kind of really cool to be able to go fight with someone that was fighting when I first went to go see 12 years ago. So, and I couldn't have asked for a better outcome. Obviously, I'd put away my opponent in 1 minute. Really had nothing happened to me. So it was a really good night.
Excellent finish in that fight. Right off the bat, you hit him, knocked him down, grappling a little bit, beating him up on the ground. You get back up, and then you land a nice uppercut to finish the fight, man. Did you see everything going on in there? Did you know that, the finish was coming sooner than later in that fight?
As soon as I dropped him, I mean, I really thought I was like, oh man, I didn't think I was going to drop him off that first punch. I honestly thought he was out. But then I saw he was kind of like still moving. So I hopped on top, did what I had to do. He was pretty strong with trying to get up. But I mean, I was able to kind of control him and obviously put him away pretty quick. It went a lot faster than I had anticipated. It was kind of a rush. It all kind of just happened really quick. It was like, okay, you're up, you're on deck. Oh, you're fighting in like 2 minutes. You gotta get ready. They put all the gunk on us on the side near the crowd, and my family was actually right in front of me while I was getting ready, and my aunt looked at me and she was like, "Oh, he looks scary right now." And my her boyfriend was like, "Yeah, he's getting ready to go in a fist fight." But yeah, it was really fun.
Well,
my whole family was there. All my training partners were there. My main training partner, Key, he had a really good fight that night. So.
Yeah, well, the Nostos, ladies and gentlemen, is staying busy in the cage, my man. I don't know how many training partners you had on that card, but it seems like NEF always has a ton of Nostos guys and ladies on the card, man. Would it feel like fighting with, like you said, Key, one of your main training partners? Would it feel like being in there and being able to be on the same card with some of your fellow training partners?
It was really cool. I mean, one of the main reasons I went to Nostos was Nathaniel Grimard. He's awesome, really tough kid, and it was really cool to be able to fight alongside him as well on my first event. And he was also one of the guys that was really pushing me in the gym, making sure I was ready. And I appreciate that from all of them. They're all dogs in there. We got a really, really tough gym, really tough room, and we all have the same goal of getting to that next level. So it's we all push each other, we all hold each other accountable. So it's a good spot.
Definitely some great training partners, multiple champions in there, current champions, amateur champions in that gym with you, man. A couple more things about that fight. You mentioned your aunt, and when you were getting, greased up and, the Vaseline and stuff before the fight, you could see them and see, hair or whatever. When you got in the cage, does that all black out while the fight's going on? What are you hearing in there? Is it yourself? Could you hear Devin in the corner giving you direction? What's going on while you're actually fighting in there?
I was pretty I didn't black out or anything. I remember everything. I did remember hearing Devin like say like, "Oh, he's throwing wild," because we were playing on him kind of like throwing from the outside with big looping shots, and my plan was to come straight in. I think I have some decent boxing, so it was kind of just the game plan was to hit him with some straights, hurt him, and I mean it kind of that's how it played out. But yeah, I mean I was able to hear Devin and hear Nick, and yeah, I could hear the crowd. I didn't really definitely didn't black out, so it was a fun experience. I was able to definitely remember it. So.
Well, before we get into this next opportunity coming up on the 13th, as far as your background, you mentioned, your training partners. How long joining Nostos until you actually got into the cage for the first time? What was like the time span, started training with them and actually got your first amateur fight?
I had started training back in February of 2021. So, but I didn't start with them until about June, May of 2021. I started to do a little cross training just because I was up in Kittery for my job, and I knew they were right up there, about 20 minutes away. And they were welcome to me coming in and getting some cross training in. So I ended up switching to there just because it was a little bit easier for me for my commute. I wasn't down in that area of Plastow, or I was living in Hampton at the time, so it was a little easier. But it was about a year probably of me training at Nostos before I got my first fight. And I had mentioned to Devin that I wanted to fight back in probably February of about my 1 year, 1 year of training, I think. I wanted to fight. And he said, as long as you show that you're committed to being in a fight camp, let's try to get you on the next card. Because it was right after Key had his debut in February against Quinn. So, and I was like, that would be a good kid for me to fight. Quinn, he seemed like he was kind of just as experienced as me, like only had a year or two of experience. So.
Well, as far as getting the experience with Nostos and the team you were training with a little before that, what's your background? Any martial arts in the background? Wrestling, boxing, anything that you were doing before you actually started, getting well rounded in MMA?
I did wrestling in high school. I didn't ever do it before high school, but I wasn't even the greatest wrestler in high school. I honestly only had a couple varsity matches. I didn't even start my senior year. I got beat by a kid that ended up being a 2-time state champ, and he's the coach at my Salem High School now. So kind of not a bad kid to lose to.
No.
I was a little upset about it at the time, obviously, but I mean, he is a really good wrestler. So he did put it to me and kind of made me eat my teenage ego of thinking that I was invincible and anyone was just weaker than me, But it was wrestling in high school, and then also my dad had gotten me a boxing bag back when I was probably like 9 years old. He was in the Army, but other than that, I really had no training in martial arts or anything until the last 2 years. So.
Well, it looks like that paid off, man. That first round minute finish in your debut here. Now we are here, 10 months later, making your next trip into the Neff cage, man. Another big event. You're gonna be fighting at the Aura, where I believe we talked about getting an interview when you were gonna fight again, man. How you feel about stepping into that cage? It's a little more intimate than being outside. The crowd's a little closer, and it's very loud in that place. How excited are you to get back into the Neff cage and fighting at the Aura?
I'm really excited. I mean, that's where I went to go see Key have his first fight. So I have been there for a fight before. I think it's a really cool, unique venue. You're up in the sky almost, while all the people are right down below you. Almost different than Cage Titans. I can't wait to be able to fight at Cage Titans for sure. That's a really, really cool venue. But I like the Aura has it like up, so I don't know. It's gonna be a different experience. So
Yeah, you got the
and
people.
I'm excited. It was gonna be fun.
Yeah, you got the people above you and below you, and then even with you. So they're all over the place, and they're right there, man. So, as far as the kid you're fighting, Qasim Abdullah, he has a win at Neff, a decision win, for I would say a smaller opponent in Julian Menjivar. It was a scrappy fight. What do you know about him, and what are you thinking about this kid coming in? I mean, he had a decision against, I say, a smaller opponent, and you had a first round finish, a KO, man. What are you looking at this fight, and how excited are you to scrap it up with this kid?
I think he's gonna come out swinging for my head, and just like he kind of showed. Maybe he's gonna be a little more composed this fight, but I think he kind of showed how he's gonna fight, and I showed how I'm gonna fight. So I think someone's gonna get knocked out, hopefully here pretty quick. I think it's gonna be me getting a knockout over him. I think I have some pretty good hands. He kind of overthrew his punches, but I don't know. He's definitely a tough kid. Julian's he is undersized for the 25. He's definitely a straw weight, but he's very talented striker. Very young, so he's got a great future. I can't wait to get some cross training in with KTA. Those guys that they've been talking to Devin about coming up to Nostos to do some cross training. So I'm waiting for that opportunity to mix it up with Mike Jolliker and those guys. So, but Kasim, he's I don't know. I think I'm gonna kind of show that I'm better than him when striking. I'm gonna show that I'm better than him on the ground. So he better be ready to bring it, to be honest. So.
Now this is a flyweight fight, correct? I think your last fight was ranked flyweight, but I think it was a catchweight actually.
Yeah.
But this is 125 here. How are you feeling about your weight? I mean, you're a 5'8" kid. I mean, you're not small for the flyweight division. Are you a kind of a bigger flyweight? What do you think about that? Do you cut a lot of weight to get down that, or are you all right cutting the one flyweight?
Last fight was a little bit different. I was about 150 when I was trying to cut down to 130. But right now I'm sitting around like 135 after practice. So this should be a decent cut, but a doable cut. So I feel like my body is fine to do it. I don't know for how long, because I want to definitely put on some muscle. But I can do it for at least my amateur career. So,
well, as far as this fight and the last fight, I mean, this is your second real training camp. You have other training partners that are going to be on the same card again. How's it feel to mix it up and be able to, go full throttle with these guys and ladies that, are going to be side by side with you in the cage again, man? What's training camp like the second time around?
This one's a little different. I mean, I was working quite often here in the last month, but we actually just got all laid off. So I got a little more time now to buckle down for this last month. But Danielle Okula, John Hersey, and Nate are all gonna be ready to bring it. They've all been in there mixing it up, having some good rounds, and then I've been getting back in there and having some good rounds with them. So, like I said before, it's a great room in there. We have people that push each other all the time, so we're always kind of ready to go. We got a lot of people that are still waiting to make their debut too that are really good. So
Yeah, as of now, Neff is just starting to release posters of the matchups. I know Grimad's poster hasn't come out yet, but I know his opponent, and I'm going to be getting a word with him. I know you have a young lady that's going to be making, making the trip there. So I'm going to be trying to, get a word with all you ladies and gentlemen from that camp, man, because it's a great camp, and you guys are doing great things. Like I said, you have amateur champions in there. Devin, a former Bellator UFC fighter, always bringing it with the kids he trains. Great gym, man. A couple of more questions here, man. Alex, you mentioned the first time we met was at the Combat Zone event. What do you do there? Like, are you on the side? You're a photographer, correct?
yeah, I do photography. I actually do the fan photo for them. I work for a photo booth company, so we do like weddings, corporate events, stuff like that. 360 DJs down in Beverly, Mass. So previously I was doing it by like myself with my own camera, and then would just like upload the photos after the event, and then after like the second event, I started working with them, and I was like, hey, can I use this for Combat Zone? And he was like, yeah, definitely. Like, I don't care. Like, I had to cover the cost of it, but it gets me into the event, and usually I get a media pass. So it's pretty cool to be able to get back there and just be able to be around the fighters. I was doing like some of the warm up photos before, but no one really honestly cares about the warm ups usually. So
Well, is that something?
And they have some good photographers and media guys there already. So I let them do their own thing.
Well, I know you're concentrating on the fighting now, and you mentioned making a pro debut someday down the line. Is the MMA photography something that you're looking to do along with fighting in the cage?
Yeah, I would definitely be interested in doing that. Actually, Devin's mentioned to me that they want someone to be like kind of their media person. I just need to invest in like a video camera. So that might be coming in my near future for sure. But it would just be for our team, I think. But if I ever got the opportunity to work for like Bellator or UFC doing some photography and media work, that would be awesome. So.
Well, I know there's a lot of up and coming photographers that actually train at gyms, and they do a lot of work for the gyms itself. It's not only helps you with your craft, it helps the gyms and the fighters from there get noticed. And man, all the power to you, man. I love. I suck at taking photos and shit, but it's something that it really intrigues me and something special, man. It's not easy to do.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It does. I didn't think of it like that before, but my grandpa always said like you have like an artistic eye. Like I don't see those type of things. Like I don't see like a tree and see it as a beautiful photo. Like you see a different angle and it's a completely different photo, But
Excellent, my man.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Definitely, my man. Well, last thing here, my man, about this fight and entering that Neff cage for the second time. You're both 1-0 going in here, so somebody's always got to go. I love saying that, man. But as far as this fight at Neff 52, what do we expect to see from Alex the Alley Cat Morris on May 13th at the Aura?
You're gonna expect me to put on a great show. I'm gonna come out a little more composed this time, not try to look for that knockout so badly. I'm gonna show off how I can strike, stay composed, and kind of just pick this kid apart. So it's gonna be fun.
Excellent.
I don't want to give away my game plan too much.
That's all right. One more question here, Alex. I know it's about 10 months since that last fight. In this fight, I know you're a busy man, family man, doing a bunch of shit on the side. How busy you looking to stay, for this following year after this fight on the 13th?
I would definitely like to get in another one, at least one or maybe two. my best friend Tyler Green's actually getting married. He fought on Combat Zone. He had a great fight back there. He's getting married in August, and we're going on a bachelor trip down to Miami in June. So I'm gonna have a little bit of time off, but I know there's a NEF card in July, so we'll see.
Excellent, my man. Well, the year's young, man. There's a ton of cards coming up. Not only NEF, all over the New England area. Great promotions all around, man. So, as a young amateur in yourself, man, you're going to be able to get a lot of work. And, you get your hand raised in this fight. You're 2-0, moving up the rankings. Man, people are going to have, they're going to have your name in their mouth wanting to fight you or just wanting to see you fight, man. So, with that said, man, any shout outs, social media, anything you want to say before I let you go and get on with your beautiful outside, man. Enjoy it.
Yeah, it is. It is a beautiful day. I'm gonna get back to training though, unfortunately, and get back in the gym. But shout out to my sponsors: Hall Brother Roofing, Hagen Motor Pool, Joe Moore Electric down in Methuen, Sawing Your Scopes in Manchester, King Custy's Kitchen. Trying to not go to my list to check it. 360 DJs and photo booth in Beverly. And if I forgot any of them, I'm sorry.
That's a bunch of friggin' sponsors for a young amateur, man. Congratulations, bro.
I actually might have some more too that I haven't had confirmed yet.
Well,
but yeah, I've been doing a little bit of trying to get some sponsor money. So
well, good
it
for
helps.
you.
It definitely helps. So
yeah, it's not cheap, man, being an MMA fighter, man. We know you don't get paid as an amateur, and we know it takes a lot to get into that cage, man. So congratulations, man, on the success. The training partners, the gym, everything you're doing outside the gym, and everything coming your way, man. It was a pleasure getting in touch with you and talking to you. I'm gonna try to make that card on the 13th. I love the Aura experience, man. I have other media members that saying it's a little too cramped for them, but I'm a kind of guy that flows all around anyway, and I just love the intimate crowd there and the energy that place brings, man. So congratulations fighting there, bro.
thank you. I appreciate it. And I hope to see you there.
Definitely, my man. Any social media other than your Instagram you want to throw out there, man? I'll let you get out of here.
No, just my Instagram. Facebook, I try to keep a little more low key. So, but yeah, just Instagram when you already had that, right?
Yeah,
so.
It's up there. So, my man, like I said, a pleasure getting in touch with you. We'll definitely get a word after that fight. I might be doing some interviews there. I know Neff has the thing set off to the side that they have all the fighters interviewing, but I like to roam around the crowd and get you guys when you're pumped in the crowd, get words with you then. So I might be around, man. You might see me, and we'll definitely get a chat, all right?
Okay, sounds good. I look forward to it.
All right, Alex.
Thank you.
Thanks
for having me, Steve.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, and thanks for the time, bro. And you have a great fight on the 13th, man, and we'll definitely talk after.
Awesome. I will.
All right,
have a good
man.
day.
All right.